Thanks for dropping by. In this video we're going to be creating this title. This is from a question that appeared on the Facebook beginners group, and the question was how to get part of a title to scramble and not all the title to scramble. So as you can see here, I'm going to make it in one text node, and I'm doing that so I can show you how to add a few controls and do some expressions, and we'll recreate what we've got. I'm going to start by bringing in a background node. This is going to create my composition for me, and in the inspector I can drop the alpha to 0 so we can see the checkered background. And now I can just attach all my nodes to this one pipe, but I'm only going to use one node. That's the text node. Take the output of the text node over the output of the background node, and that'll merge them together. And what I need to do is to split the dollar and the cents, because I'm going to scramble them separate from the rest. I'm going to create two controls in here, and the way to do this, on the text one, right click, come up to edit controls, and this will open the edit controls panel. I've done a video previously about this panel, so I'll put a link in the description. We're going to create our first control, which is we're going to call it dollars. And this is going to be just a text input, and you'll notice when I click text, the ID also changed to dollars, and it's the ID that you use inside expressions. I'm making a text input. We can put it in the user page. It's good for organization. That we don't have a user page as yet, but this will create one. I'm going to have it animatable because I want to scramble it. It's going to be a text edit control that just activates a text box. And the default size for a text box is 8 lines. I don't need 8 lines. I'm just going to have one. So I'm going to put one in here and click OK. We can then look in the inspector. We've got a user page. If we select this, we'll now see our dollars. And we've got our text box. This is our input field. And then we can see here that it can be keyframeable or animated. We're going to create another one for the cents. So edit controls. This is going to be cents, text in the user, animatable, text box with 1 line height, and there it goes, appears there. So we've set our inputs. What I'm actually going to do in the inputs, I'm going to put zeros. Now I haven't got the symbol and I haven't got the decimal point. I can add them in the text box. These inputs don't appear on the screen because if we come to the text page, this text panel here is what outputs to the viewer and ultimately goes out of the text node itself. So we're going to use expressions to bring in our information. The way to do that is to just right click on here, and at the bottom of the context menu we've got expression, and we don't really need this, so we're going to get rid of that. However, what we need at the beginning is we need that dollar symbol. So all I'm going to do is put a quote which tells Davinci we're going to put a string, put the dollar symbol, and then another quote. And that will bring straight in there as our dollar symbol. So you can type anything between these quotations and it's going to appear before our price. What we want to do is concatenate or put next to dollars. And the way to do that in expressions is just 2 dots, which means concatenate. We're then going to type in dollars.value. Now what this means is go and grab the dollar information that we made and then check it at every single frame. So if we click in here, what it's doing is taking the information from this box, so if it was 9s, and displaying them inside this StyledText box. Value is telling Davinci Resolve to read it at every single frame. So if it changed, it updates every frame. What we then want to do is we're going to concatenate again, so 2 dots again. We're going to do another quotation mark, the decimal point, and then close the quotations, and that gives us our decimal point. We'll finish off by concatenating the cents dot value. So now we've got our dollars and cents in our viewer, and we're all set up to scramble them. We're not going to scramble this text box, so we're going to come to the user and we're going to scramble dollars and cents. Now you can do this separately, but what we're going to do is we're going to set the text scramble modifier on them and then join them together so we can animate them easy. From inside the dollar here, we can right click and select text scramble. That adds the modifier for us. And then at the top, we've got access to the modifiers here with this tab. By selecting this, we can now see our modifier. Because we're dealing with dollars and cents, we don't need letters of the alphabet. So down at the bottom where it says substitute characters, we're going to remove the actual letters. So we've just got the digits. And these are the digits that are going to be used to replace our originals. Randomness, 0 is not random at all, and 1 is everything random. So now we've got the dollars being random. We haven't done the cents yet, but the dollars are random all the time. But that lasts the whole length of our composition. We're not going to worry about that because we're going to use AnimCurves to actually control our animation so we can have a bit of ease and we can make it look a little bit different. What I am going to do now though is add the text scrambler to the cents. So I'm going to come back to tools, and in the cents I'm going to right click, text scramble, and now in the modifier we've got the text scramble on the cents. I'm going to remove those letters. And I'm actually going to untick the time because I don't want it to refer to the frames. I want it to refer to the AnimCurves. Just going to open both of these by pinning them. And now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to reset this so they're both the same. So on randomness, I'm going to right click and I'm just going to publish there. And what happens is at the bottom, we've now got this new control that says value. And this value actually controls our randomness. So we've published that control. So I can now just hide that for the time being. On our cents, we're not going to publish the randomness. What we're going to do is connect it to this value. So we're going to right click, connect to text scramble dollars randomness. We've now joined those two controls together, and we made them into one control. What we can then do is on this value here, I can right click, modify with, right at the top, AnimCurves. AnimCurves are extremely powerful. We can use them to add easing, change speed, change scale, and also it becomes fully responsive on the timeline. I'm going to change this to duration, easing, and on the out, so the in and the out, this is the beginning of the effect and this is the end of the effect. As the digits come to the end, I want them to sort of ease rather than just stop abruptly. I want them to slow down. So I'm going to use sine. What I'm going to find is when I do this, it's very slow and clunky, and that's because I need to change scale. This is a bit unusual because normally time scale here makes the difference, but on the scramble, then we've got the scale. And just by changing this one control, we're controlling both the dollars and the cents. With the time scale, I'm just going to change that to 2, which means it's going to finish earlier. You can play around with this. The higher this number, the quicker it will actually finish. All that's left to do now is to make it look a bit nicer. So what's left for me to say is thank you very much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.